So something I wanted to show you that I use for spotting when I'm at the range, especially recently, it's been really convenient. I've already had it out of the box. Obviously, I've been using it for a while, but I just wanted to show you a little bit of an unboxing. It's the Python 12 by 52, and it comes in a nice box, packaged well. Inside, you're going to find your monocular like this. That's how it's packaged. And it does come with some extras like a phone adapter here, so you can record with your phone, and I've used that and it does work well. I'll show you that in a second actually. And it has a lens cloth, a handle, a manual, and this carrying case right here. This monocular is called the RangeMaster, and it comes in this carrying bag too if you need a bag to carry it around with. It is small enough to fit in a pocket. Does not come with this Arca piece. That's my Arca piece down there. But it does come threaded for some of those 1/4-inch attachments if you have a tripod that you would like to attach it to. There's kind of the footprint right there. And it does have a removable cap for the eyepiece. And then the front is a flip attach, kind of a rubber feel, and I like it a lot. It seems like it'll be durable. I don't have any concerns about that actually breaking off, or I don't know, in weather cracking, anything like that. It seems pretty good. Little shot at the large size lens there, 52 millimeters, pretty cool. And the eyepiece, as well as the focus. There's a texture that runs all along. It's a nice gummy feel. It's a protective kind of texture, I think. So water would just bead off this. I don't believe you're gonna have too much water issue. It's probably not waterproof to be like submerged, but I think water would shed off this easy enough. And you do have a couple of attachment points here if you wanted to lanyard it or run it around the neck or put that handle on. You could put the handle between here and put your hand through it, kind of like one of those old style camcorders, if you need some help holding on to it when you're walking around with it, instead of just trying to do this. And the handle does work nicely. I just prefer not to run it right now. And here it is with the handle attached. So it just gives you a little something to hold on to like that. And so you can actually use your fingers to do something else, or just be a little bit more fine in the adjustments of the focus. Works nicely. I don't usually use it because I like to mount mine to tripods more often than not, but you may choose to use it, and it does come with a nice kind of hand protector and comfort item there. Pretty easy to lace through those two web inlets or eyelets, and it's a snap closure to put this on afterwards. All right, I'm gonna go over a few of the specs with you. On your eye cup here, you have an adjustable eye cup, and the computation for the correction, I think, is +5 is what it's advertised as. It has a waterproof outer coating here. They're calling it IPX7 waterproof rating. The adjustment feature is right there. You do have a 20 millimeter lens inside, and that is by, let's see, 52. It's by 52 on the other side. Nice piece of glass and lens in there. The type of glass, speaking of the glass, it's listed as Ultra HD. And so that's not a designation that I'm familiar with yet. I'm not an expert on Ultra HD. Some of these terms do have official definitions and meanings, or kind of a standard, and I'm not sure what Ultra HD would be comparative to, but I will talk about the glass quality in a little bit, just to give you my personal opinion about that. So from the manual, some of the specs for the 12X that you might care about, especially if you know about lenses, is it's 6 pieces, 4 groups. It's a back 4 lens, and so at the price point, that's very cool to see a back 4 lens at this price point, and it is fully multi-coated. The objective and the eyepiece is FBMC. Moving on from that, the exit pupil diameter on the 12X version of this is 4.19, and the exit pupil distance is 15 on this model. The field of view is 273 feet, or 5.2 degrees. And the next thing that you maybe would care about is the fact that it is, you might have to convert this if you want it in ounces, but it's 579 grams. 579 grams, that's the weight for that. And then one more thing that maybe is interesting to you, as far as dimensions go, it's 206 by 65 by 85 millimeters for the dimensions. All right, taking a look at the mounting system here. So instead of using a 1/4 inch alone, I put mine on an Arca plate because that's what I like to do. Have some Sunway Photo gear like this tripod and the Arca plates. I like to use those, they're very convenient. And it's just steadier for me. Maybe you have steady hands or maybe you like to do it handheld. I like to use the tripod myself. I have targets out here at 330 yards. Very hot day today. Lots of mirage when I was shooting, but starting to get some shade from the trees, and it seems like the land is cooling off. The air is not quite as hot and humid as it was before. One thing that's important with these straight body type binoculars or spotting scopes is just getting the right angle to look through it so it's comfortable. There we go. So field of view wise, okay, it was advertised as 273 feet. I'm assuming that's at 100 yards. And I do have a lot of colors downrange to look at. I've got yellows, orange, white, and brown, green, and some red. So I can look back and forth at those colors. The first thing that I did when I first got this optic is I spent a lot of time just trying to go back and forth on the focus wheel and see how clear the image would be compared to other optics and other things that I have. I have some other monoculars and scopes to compare it against, or binoculars, and just comparing what does clarity look like, especially with the monoculars. That's my main comparison. Looking at the center of the glass now, center of the glass looks pretty good. I can pick out details, can certainly see those bullet impacts, those holes on paper. I can make out features of my backstop in the dirt. I can see some small items down there at 330 yards. I can see flowers in the grass pretty decently. Can make out, for the most part, individual flowers. So in order to see detail, you need good contrast. You need really good contrast, and in order to have good contrast, they have to calibrate a few things well and do that good, and you can't just put in any piece of glass and expect it to perform well. There has to be a decent system in there, and I think with the back 4 and being fully multi-coated and all that, and what they call HD glass, that term can go around a little bit, but with HD glass, it is giving me the clarity I need to see the detail that I would demand from an optic like this at its price point. I do see the detail there. In order to get that detail, this right here is very sensitive. Like I said, it's smooth, but it's very low resistance. And so you just gotta barely finesse that thing back and forth to get it to be really crisp and true. And that's one thing I'm noticing is it's a very sensitive wheel for the parallax or the focus adjustment. I'll tell you that I do like the feel of this product. They did a nice job with the coatings, the feel of the wheel, the feel of the eye cup here, and the way that it adjusts. It's got a good amount of tension to it. I like that. I don't want this to be just sloppy or too smooth or anything. It's got to have a little resistance so it'll stop in the right place and not move around on you. And this looks pretty good. I will say 99% of people out there, I'm very, very confident you're going to run this all the way in. That's my opinion about the configuration and the way that that it's set up for most people's eyes. Unless your body type is just a little different, you have glasses maybe. I think most people are going to have their eye right up to this thing. I think field of view is comparable. Yeah, I would say comparable to some others at this price point that I have not yet reviewed on this channel, but it's comparable. I've seen a bigger field of view. You can't judge like a pair of binoculars against a monocular for this kind of thing. It's not fair. But as far as monoculars go, yeah, you could spend some more money and get a bigger field of view, but at the same time, it's probably not going to do that much more for you. Once you start adding like really, really expensive glass, or you start making it just so much bigger on the objective lens, the price is going to go up, the footprint is going to go up most of the time, and it's just not as accessible either in price point, or you won't have it with you because it's so big at that point. You're not going to pack it or not going to put it in a pocket or in this little carrying case. You know, something like this. This is pretty easy to carry along with you or stick in a bag, but when they start getting so long, it's just so much weight and you're less likely to take it. And so I think they know what they're doing and who they're trying to reach as far as who they're marketing to. And I think the person who's going to buy this is going to be satisfied with it. That's my opinion. I think they'll be satisfied with their purchase. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about color and color fringing, or CA. There is chromatic aberration, and I notice it particularly on my steel down there. I have some orange on my steel, and even when I get it focused really, really tight, the edges of the steel, it's got a little glow effect going on there, just a little bit. It's not bad. It doesn't prevent me, it hasn't prevented me yet from seeing my impacts on steel or recording, putting my camera up to this and recording. You know, it hasn't stopped me from any of that. And like I said, I can still see the detail. It might not be as fine as a $2,000 piece of glass or even a $1,000 piece of glass, but I can see the detail, and I'll tell you that if I was spotting for someone else right now, I have a high degree of confidence that I could see really, really tiny bullets, impacts, misses, or impacts into the brush. When you miss into the brush or the grass, the weeds, and it doesn't send a lot of signature, that's really difficult. But I feel strong that I could probably pick out a 22 miss really easily with this. Great field of view, good enough detail, good enough on the color. Yep, just a little sensitive on that dial. And sensitivity is not a bad thing, especially if you're willing to take the time to move that around and get your image crystal clear. It's not just a general parallax wheel where you're maybe in a rifle competition, you're going back and forth and you don't need it to be exact. With this, if you want your image to look any good at all, you're going to have to be able to move this back and forth and understand that and learn that if it's still a little blurry, it's because you probably need to finesse it just a little bit more. So a little touchy. Another important thing about accessories is, you know, they have to be small enough that you'll actually take them with. And so here is the phone accessory. It folds down and it can be a pretty compact little guy like that. Nice design, good idea. And it does also include a thread on the bottom. So if you needed it to be a little bit modular, it is. Go ahead and tighten it up like that, and you can set your phone in there. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna go ahead and throw my phone in here, guys, and do just a little bit of shooting at 330 yards with a rim fire, and show you that this unit as it sits right now is just a really simple point and click kind of device now with my phone, and it can spot, it can record, I can record data with it, I can talk and my camera can hear me. It's a really useful tool to be able to record what you're shooting at once you start getting into the long range game and having some video feedback for that. All right, a little change of plans. There is a real big rumbling storm coming in, and I probably shouldn't be holding on to a piece of metal and shooting in the middle of that storm. So I'm gonna hurry up. I have a 7x12-ish target down there, and I'm gonna try to bring that a few times at least. Even with this wind, it should be doable with my little 22 here and some Normatak 40 grain, 330 yards. So I'll throw a few down there, and I think you'll be able to hear it on one of my cameras. There it is. There's 3 nice hits in a row. Not too difficult, especially with this optic. It's not too difficult, but it's nice to be able to see it in the recorded video from that spotter. That's really, really nice to be able to use, not just for producing content, but if you were on a hunt or you're actually out in the field and you wanted to talk to the camera a little bit, record some of your data, remember some of the things that you're observing, it's a great way to record that information. All right, now I'm switching over to my phone camera for a second. It is mounted up in the provided mount with the Python 12 by 52. I have some targets. Those berms you're looking at right there have some steel on top, a silhouette, and a round donut. Those are at 330 yards from where I'm sitting right now. And then the numerical run right there, that's, I don't know, 280 something, I think. And I'm going to unlock my tripod here and just move this around a little bit just to show you what that looks like. Now, because of the eye cup and the way that my camera is sitting right now, I don't have the full field of view to show you. I think if I were to back off on that a little bit on the magnification, it would give you a better picture of the full view. But you can also zoom in. If you have a modern phone camera, more than likely you can use your phone device now to help focus that image, or you can reach up and actually use, like I am right now, can use the focus piece on the monocular. And when I film impacts, a lot of times I'll actually just use the phone technology to focus that image in for me, and it does a decent job. Even on days when it's very hot like right now, it is, you know, just about 90 degrees still outside, very humid, lots of mirage, but I can still see my target. And I'm going to zoom, let's go over here to that silhouette. And then you can see some clay pigeons sitting out there as well. And I think I will toss a few rounds at that clay pigeon, which is underneath this silhouette there, and you should be able to spot those while I try to walk my way in. Hopefully I don't miss too much. A little low. Little high. Oh man, I am just dancing back and forth. There it is. Oh my gosh, that one took a while. And there's one more next to it. Got it. Last round. One shot, one break. That was a ricochet, I think. Not too bad. When I'm filming and I want to do a little bit of spotting, this is a very convenient tool to have at my side on the bench with me. So I have that Arca plate on there. I'm using a Sunway Photo dedicated head. This is built especially for spotting and spotters. And I can get my Python in there just like so. And this one's really nice because it actually has the controls that you would want for a spotter. So that's a nice feature to have on top of that. And now I actually have kind of a bench height spotter just like this right here. Very easy to control and look through and see where I'm shooting. And if I wanted to, and I wanted to record at the same time, it's very easy for me to just take out the compact recording device here from my phone and throw my phone in. And I've configured this in a way that I can pretty much just throw my phone in every time, and the camera lens finds its place, and I can record my footage and take my phone out easily. This is, again, just a spring tension device here, but it fits my Pixel 3 XL really nicely. I can record my footage and then take it right back off. And if I have somebody spotting for me, again, it's not really that hard for them to figure this out. They just need to know how to use this and finesse the focus down. But that's a nice package, and it's a really, really convenient way to keep a low footprint on the bench, on the table, as I'm shooting and trying to get some footage for either my channel or just record my groups. Well, the Python 12x52 kept up with my expectations. I was very happy with it. One thing I think is neat is they advertise this has a 91% light transmission rate, which is very, very good. And I know if you're watching this, you're probably thinking, well, who is this best suited for? I would say people who are just generally outdoors kind of folks. Grab one of these and keep it in your side-by-side or your four-wheeler, or maybe your truck or SUV. It's always convenient to have something like this. If you go camping or you're a backpacker, absolutely. If you're a boater, absolutely. Sometimes it's very convenient to have a monocular or binoculars with you in a boat or kayaking situation to see what's coming further, if there's rapids or something across the lake, maybe a cool birding opportunity. I definitely think birders will appreciate this quite a bit. And, the flexibility to be able to put it on a tripod or mount it onto something, maybe even your window, if you're a birder and you like to watch from the window, or use it as a handheld if you're on the trail or hunting, glassing hills, and you want to stay lightweight. I think 12x52 is going to get you into most categories, whether it's sporting events, hunting, or just casual bird watching. And I did have a really good experience with this. I think it's durable, and I think they live up to the reputation that they gave it when they advertised it as a very, very accessible monocular with high quality and great features. Head over now and check them out on Amazon.